Thanks, everybody. It's great to have everybody here for another Bailey Oratorical. Wow, what a great crowd. I learned something at dinner tonight that this event, as I look out into the crowd, this event was at one time held in a small faculty lounge space, and then moved to a little bit larger space, and then I think to Ellis Ballroom, and then graduated to this space. In what year? What year did it come to here when this building opened, maybe? So it is. Yeah, so it is great to have all of you here. I mean, where would you rather be on a night like tonight, right? So this event, real quickly, has a special place in my heart, as I very clearly remember I was in my kitchen in Ohio, and I had recently been hired as your president, but I had not yet been on the job. And the question for the 2013 Bailey was, what advice do you give Juniata's next president? And I can tell you, I'm still reeling from all that advice that I received, and much of it was fantastic advice, and much of it I have followed thanks to the students who presented back in March of 2013. So this is my third Bailey, participating 2 times here now and 1 time remotely, and it is proven to be one of my favorite evenings of the year. And I want to say thank you to the students who showed up tonight, to our faculty and staff, and our other guests here. A special thank you to the communications department, Dr. Donna Weimer, who will introduce in a moment, Dr. Grace Falla, Sarah Worley, Michelle Baker. This is a tremendous event, and to the students who participated, I think we had up to 30 students who participated in the original speeches, and congratulations to our seven finalists who are going to be talking with you tonight with our question, which is on the program, as you picked one up, which is, how can we enhance Juniata's distinctiveness today and ensure our success in the future? And I can tell you for sure, I know I will be taking copious notes about what a lot you will be sharing with us tonight. So with that, thanks again for coming tonight. I'll turn the program over to Dr. Donna Weimer, Professor of Communication, Chair of Communication Legal Rights. Dr. Weimer.
Oh, the lights. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I want to give you a big hand, and give a big hand to yourself for walking those treacherous walkways to get here. You are as stalwart as our 7 contestants this evening. I want to thank you, President Troha. Good evening. Thank you all for joining us. Professors Baker, Cockett, Falla, Worley, and I are so pleased to have you share our interest and enjoyment in public speaking. The Dalai Lama says it is our collective and individual responsibility to preserve and tend to the world in which we all live. I would also like to salute the 30 students who participated in the preliminary round and tended to the world in which they live. We had 8 speeches on the improvement of diversity, many speeches arguing that the strategic plan should include Huntington, the town and the surrounding area. We had at least 4 speeches on financial aid, end student debt, and how to improve our health and wellness services, and how to really build on the values of our community. There were some very specific topics which might not surprise you. Building career services in this very difficult time of getting jobs, supporting smaller POEs outside the sciences such as IMN, keeping OCHEM in the first year. What do you think? Keeping OCHEM in the first year? And we had a speech on improving Sodexo, which none of you agree with, so keep going. So I wish you had heard them all. These speeches represent the best of Juniata. The judges who made that Saturday event an academic challenge were Janelle Smith-Cohn, class of 11, Sean McDonald, class of 09, and Emily Spokus, class of 07. These alums totaled 30 hours of volunteer service to JC that Saturday. They traveled from afar and spent a precious Saturday to give back to Juniata. to evaluate the speeches, choose the finalists, and write critiques to help our students benefit from the preliminary round, whether they placed as finalists or not. We simply have the best alums and the best friends. Please help me thank them for sharing their dedication to the art of public speaking. Now, please stay with me. I have a lot of thank yous. This event just doesn't happen by itself, and I certainly don't do it by myself. I would be remiss if I didn't thank some folks. Jesse Sullivan and Chad Herzog and Grant Miner for arranging this theater space into an agora of eloquence. The digital media studio, particularly Madison Barrier, who is in charge of the live streaming, Morgan Harrell, Luke Frigello, and his band of stalwart digital technicians for coordinating the video and live streaming that some of your families are watching at home. We have made one of the oldest academic events at Juniata high-tech. So thanks for the coordination and the effort, and welcome to everyone by tuning in, who is tuning in out there, but everyone in here, I would like you to turn off your phones now, okay? So we thank our Communication and Media Club for their sponsorship and for the goodies that are out there in the lobby while you're waiting for the judges to make their deliberations. And I can't thank Heather Bumbarger for hours of invisible labor, and every year she makes this event look so very good, and I might add, me too. Tonight, we have 3 distinguished judges faced with the difficult challenge of choosing winners. In each of their professions, speaking effectively is crucial to success and to their active participation in their communities. The competition is rigorous, and the communication program is eternally grateful that we are not the judges and that you came here to help us out. So very briefly, our judges are, if you wouldn't mind just standing, I know it's a little hard. Carol Herman is Vice President for Marketing, Administration, and Communication at Kish Bank, and she's the CEO of Kish Travel. Prior to joining Kish Bank, Carol had extended career at Penn State, where she was retired as Senior Vice President for Administration Emeriti. And she's a great friend of Juniata, so thank you so much for being here. Jennifer Lewis, class of '97, earned a master's degree in Communication Studies and Rhetoric from the University of Montana, taught at Juniata from 2000 to 2002 in Communication and Peace and Conflict Studies. Her current position is as Associate Director of International Programs at Earlham College in Richmond, Indiana. She came a long way. She's been working there since 2002, and I want to just make a special note that her love of public speaking extends to Earlham, where each year, unpaid, she continues to teach the course because she thinks it's so valuable. Please welcome back Jen. Last but not least, I feel like I need to say that one line fast. Okay, you sure? All right. Class of '98, but Chris is also the 1997 Bailey champion. Woot! Right? All right, this is when we had it in the faculty lounge. I think we were still there. However, today, and this is what the Bailey will do for you, right? Chris Scalia is the Hershey Company's Vice President of Talent. Chris is responsible for all aspects of Hershey's global talent strategy, including talent management, organizational learning, enterprise capabilities, and executive development. Additionally, Chris is a lawyer, a guest lecturer, a writer, and loves to lead large teams. He has over 15 years of global experience in management and HR, labor relations, collective bargaining, and law. He's passionate about global cultures, the performing arts, lifelong learning, and public speaking. Please help us welcome Chris Scalia. Our finalists are speaking in the final order. So if you have a program, you can mark it, okay? They're not going alphabetically. James Imbrie, Class of 15, Creative Communication with Mathematics, will speak first. Ryan Shelton, Class of 16, in Accounting, will speak second. Coleman Rigg, Class of 15, Marketing, will speak third. Maverick Force, Class of 15, Finance, will speak fourth. Natasha Lane, Class of 15, Entrepreneurial Journalism, will speak fifth. Julia McMurray, Class of 19, International Studies, will speak sixth. And Colton Hallabuk, Class of 15, in Health Communication, will speak seventh. Many of you ask, what criteria will the judges use? In brief, the speeches are persuasive intent. In a very short amount of time, 6 to 8 minutes, these finalists will invite you to share their point of view. Their overall residual message must be clear, and they must support it with a clear line of reasoning and a variety of evidence. In addition, they must adapt their message to this particular audience, engage us emotionally, and enhance their message with effective delivery. Not much, just walk on water, right? Tacitus says, eloquence burns bright, and we will be illuminated. So let's not wait a minute longer. Best wishes to all of the finalists. May Hermes, the god of eloquence, the protector of ancient oratory, guide you in your quest. Imbrie.
James Imbrie. By 2100, Quaternary Science Reviews predicts an overall increase of 4 degrees Celsius in the Earth's climate. This will result in a global sea level rise of approximately 1 meter, submerging millions of square miles of land across the world, completely drowning some island nations, and causing extreme and dangerous new global weather patterns. As of this year, the island of Kivalina, Alaska is already being forced to consider relocating its residents as a result of the effects of climate change. The subsequent displacement and migration of millions of people across the globe, especially from coastal population centers, will lead to catastrophic resource wars and famines. These horrors will be felt disproportionately by less wealthy developing countries. On our current track, the fallout of climate change will become the greatest challenge that our generation is going to inherit. Global climate change is the direct result of the industrial world's fatal addiction to fossil fuels, and solutions are constantly obstructed by the immense political power of fossil fuel corporations. So what can we at Juniata do about this? There is a national initiative currently gaining momentum for colleges and institutions to remove their investments from fossil fuel companies, thereby lessening our collective financial dependence on them, as well as stigmatizing the industry. As of this time last year, Juniata College has invested approximately $2 million of its endowment in the top 200 publicly traded fossil fuel companies. I am a member of the Juniata College Divestment Campaign, which was started this time last year by a fellow student, Nathan Anderson Stahl. Since then, a petition asking the school administration to divest has circulated, collecting over 300 signatures from the student body. And I'm here to make the case that Juniata College can assert itself as a distinctive and progressive institution by divesting the endowment out of fossil fuels and taking a more active leadership role with regard to climate change policy. So what is divestment? Why should Juniata divest? And why is divestment the right thing to do? Divestment is a global movement with a political goal. The principal directive of the campaign is to stigmatize the fossil fuel industry. By pressuring individuals and institutions to discontinue investment in fossil fuel extraction corporations, the movement sends the message that fossil fuels are not conducive to a healthy future for our planet. Divestiture is by no means easy. We have reached this tipping point after over a century of focusing on short-term capital gains at the expense of long-term environmental stability. The divestment initiative recognizes these externalities and symbolizes the reversal of that short-sighted ideology. To move forward, our society must decrease its dependence on fossil fuels. Rationally, Juniata recognized the forthcoming need to be more environmentally sustainable with its energy consumption. If we can recognize this, yet refuse to take meaningful action and continue to profit from these investments, we are enabling fossil fuel dependence. If Juniata steps up, we will become a catalyst, encouraging other institutions to do the same. According to our mission statement, Juniata strives to empower students as ethical leaders of the global community. And by getting ahead of the divestment trend, we project Juniata's image as a distinctive, forward-thinking liberal arts college that is dedicated to positive social change. A divested Juniata would join a cohort of like-minded progressive institutions divesting from fossil fuels, such as Stanford and the New School in New York City. Divestment has also been publicly endorsed by world leaders, such as Archbishop Desmond Tutu, United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, and President Barack Obama, who is quoted saying, "You need to invest in what helps and divest from what hurts." These investments in fossil fuel extraction companies may be stable and beneficial in the short term, but as the effects of climate change become more noticeable, the safety of these investments will vanish, and they will no longer be tenable. However, action on climate change is not an issue of profitability, but of ethics. As part of the industrialized world, we have been the cause of the global climate crisis, but it's the developing world that has the most to lose in the coming decades. Juniata cannot maintain its moral integrity if we continue to condone and profit off of the deterioration of our environment at the expense of those less fortunate. We cannot remain complacent. One of Martin Luther King Jr.'s most provocative statements was that the hottest place in hell is reserved for those who remain neutral in times of great moral conflict. In 1965, a group of Juniata students and faculty, led by the resident poet Galway Canal, joined a march from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama, in protest of voting restrictions on African Americans. That was a radical statement and a dangerous action. Students at Juniata need to rekindle that radical spirit of activism that made us so distinct in the past. If Juniata wants to reestablish itself as an ethical leader among American colleges and universities, we need to take action to reconcile the dissonance between our ideals and our investments. We need to lead by example. American legislators have failed to take the climate crisis seriously. So collectively, as concerned citizens, we must stand up and make ourselves heard. Divestment is the platform that gives students a voice on climate change. The Juniata administration will only divest if the community demands it. Students, faculty, alumni, we have to make our voices heard firmly and swiftly. As the future alumni and donors to Juniata College, we students especially have influence over the future of our school's policies. They will listen to us. If more students stand up for the environment, we can make divestment a reality. This is our chance to start a transformation at Juniata College. Divestiture is the first step in taking Juniata from climate complacency to climate action. Global climate change is going to be the greatest threat humanity faces in the next 100 years. This is not a problem for the next generation to handle. We in this room will see the damage of climate change in our lifetime. So we cannot continue to remain neutral. As students, we have an obligation to ensure that Juniata remains distinctively on the right side of history.
Shelton.
Brian Shelton. Nike, just do it. Allstate, are you in good hands? McDonald's, I'm loving it. Juniata College, think, evolve, act. Slogans inform first impressions, and often they're how we associate a product or service to its brand. But a slogan is not the same as a brand. A brand is so much more. A brand defines an organization's mission, its core values, and how it is perceived by the world. Successful branding is critical to the survival of colleges and universities, as higher education has never faced more trying times. In the next 10 years, Moody Analytics Global Forecast has predicted that 1,000 colleges will be forced to merge or close their doors. Roger Dooley, co-founder of College Confidential, suggests that one of the key differences in who survives won't be academic output or the amenities available to students. It will be a factor seemingly unrelated to the school's mission: branding. With higher education struggling, our brand has never been more important. Malcolm Forbes, editor-in-chief and co-founder of Forbes magazine, once said, "There's no such thing as a problem, only an opportunity in disguise." At all levels, the landscape of higher education is changing, but with this transformation comes the opportunity for Juniata to carve its place. At Juniata, we know our brand, its community. With our brand, Juniata has the opportunity to enhance its distinctiveness and ensure its success in the future. But how? We must stay dedicated to creating supportive environments for all individuals. Then, we need to continue to build and maintain relationships within the Juniata family. And finally, we must recognize and take advantage of the resources around us. For Juniata College to take the next step and enliven our brand, we must revive our commitment to a community with a future. Juniata College is openly dedicated to maintaining the sense of peace, cooperation, and service set forth by our brethren founders in 1876. With a supportive framework that encourages us to take risks, Juniata seeks to provide a welcoming, safe space for all. Here at Juniata, we want to include, involve, and inspire. According to the Juniata College Office of Diversity and Inclusion, we are currently comprised of 12% domestic minorities and 10% international students. In total, that's 22% of our student body, almost 1 in every 4 students. With regard to gender neutrality, Juniata has also taken significant strides. 28 restrooms on campus have recently received signage and designation as gender inclusion. We must continue to relieve the uncomfortable pressures placed on LGBTQIA individuals and create a safe space for them here on campus. Our community is accepting. We have made progress, but how do we keep going? It is important to build programs and organizations that support everyone in this community. As a member of the men's volleyball team, I cannot help but notice how much attention and support is provided to athletes on this campus. For us athletes, this is great. But what about students with learning differences and physical disabilities? The students who didn't miss class with a public excuse, like having a game. We need to support all students, because all students are equally important to this community, and the budget and allocation of funds should reflect a greater equality across needs. We shouldn't care about select groups or programs, but we should spread our resources to care about everyone. Safe space gives this place a Juniata brand. Traditions unite Juniatians, past and present. Together, we anxiously look forward to popular events such as Madrigal, Mountain Day, and Storming the Arch. These traditions have existed for decades and encourage us to put down the books, enjoy ourselves, and further develop and maintain relationships. At Juniata, we have a commitment to developing and strengthening these relationships in and out of the classroom and beyond. Going forward, Juniata must stress the importance of connecting with our alumni, proud Juniatians who now embrace these traditions from afar and continue to live and breathe the Juniata brand. We must embrace our extended family and showcase our commitment to building intergenerational Juniata relationships. With increased support from graduates, students will be able to create networking opportunities outside of Career Day and continue to establish themselves in the professional world. Rob Strauss, class of 2013, argues that at Juniata College, we take care of our family. The relationship between students and alumni is crucial when jump-starting a career. Not only will Juniata alumni help students get their first job, they'll help them earn their first promotion and secure that career they've been dreaming of. Not only should alumni be committed to building relationships with us, but we must be committed to building relationships with each other. The Bailey Oratorical has given students on this campus a voice for over 100 years. For over 100 years, students have been part of decision-making at this institution, offering their opinions on the direction of the college. Recent topics include advising President Troja upon his appointment, defining liberty, justice, and equality beyond our campus, and reaffirming our commitment to the liberal arts. We have always offered ideas to enhance Juniata's distinctiveness. To affirm our distinctiveness, Juniata must show other colleges and universities that decisions on this campus are made as a community. We've been doing it, and we must keep doing it. And furthermore, as a small liberal arts institution located in central Pennsylvania, it is imperative that we take full advantage of our surrounding resources. In 2009, Huntington was ranked 5th in Budget Travel's publication, America's Coolest Small Towns. For Huntington, Pennsylvania, that's pretty impressive. Immersed in the beauty of the Allegheny Mountains, Huntington has treasures that range from the cliffs to Lake Raystown. Huntington is very deserving of this title, but are we using our greater community to our advantage? As an institution, we must continue to develop Huntington and strive to connect with the greater Huntington area. Founded in 2004, the Juniata College Center for Entrepreneurial Leadership has consistently fulfilled its mission of connecting business with students. But what about students connecting with businesses? Juniata College should encourage students to patronize local businesses and reap the benefits of our quaint, small town. To increase this relationship, I propose a revamped DCB system, where DCB, our dining dollars, will swipe at popular restaurants such as Standing Stone, Boxers, and OIP. By implementing a system of this nature, we will increase the connection between our institution and the Huntington community, all while contributing to the local economy. Juniata is entwined with Huntington's prosperity, and Huntington's prosperity is entwined with Juniata's. Nike, just do it. Allstate, are you in good hands? McDonald's, I'm loving it. Juniata College, think, evolve, act as a community with a future. At this time in our college's pivotal journey, I propose that we strengthen our brand. And what's most important to us here at Juniata? Our community. We have to tell a different story about ourselves if we want the rest of the world to know Juniata the way we do. We're not Juanita. We're not this school in the middle of nowhere. We're not the tiny college near Penn State. We're our own brand. We are Juniata College, a community that creates a supportive environment, values relationships, and uses its greater community wisely. We are a community with a future. Now, let's tell the world.
Coleman Rigg.
Coleman Rigg. Has it occurred to anybody else how bizarre this Bailey question is this year? After all, we are an institution of higher education, a 139-year-old institution of higher education, and you're asking for advice from me, the 21-year-old student up here wearing this crazy tie. If we have any pre-med students in the audience, or even any doctors here, that's like asking one of your patients for advice before you perform a surgery. Good job, Juniata. Oddly enough, though, I think I found a quote that aligns perfectly with our situation here tonight. That quote is from Steve Jobs, and it's just 4 words long. He once said, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." Stay hungry, stay foolish. Now, for the first part of this quote, stay hungry, it could take both a literal and metaphorical meaning here tonight. You could be standing up here like I and literally be hungry with a rumbling stomach. Or it could take on the metaphorical meaning of Juniata College hungry for success here tonight, an already successful institution wanting to be better. But what did Steve Jobs mean by stay foolish? Does he mean stay foolish as in have our freshmen run across the quad into the rugby team as they defend the arch? Did he mean stay foolish as in sleep in tents in the 0-degree weather in December just to get tickets to our magical dinner? Or did he mean stay foolish as in take the advice from this 21-year-old student wearing this bizarre tie? I assure you that Steve Jobs meant these exact things when he said stay foolish. Because the foolishness Jobs was talking about is much different from the dictionary definition, which is to lack a sense of good judgment. No. Jobs' definition is much different and would go something like this. Foolishness is creating an innovative vision, persisting beyond reason, and welcoming the risk needed to stand out from the others. This is the kind of foolishness that can change the world. For example, when Mark Zuckerberg changed the world with Facebook, he had a vision that he turned down initial investment offers of huge amounts of money just because he had a vision that was greater. Or Thomas Edison, when he persisted in making the light bulb, even though he failed 1,000 times at first. Or when Steve Jobs himself took the risk to drop out of college and change the world with his tech company as Apple. Staying foolish in our vision, persistence, and risk here at Juniata College will enhance our distinctiveness today and secure our success in the future. The perfect illustration of foolishness in our school is our POE program. POE stands for Program of Emphasis and is Juniata College's version of a traditional college major. The vision of this program can be summed up with what is written on our website, saying, Juniata gives you the chance to fuel your intellectual passions and develop unique skills that set you apart from others after graduation. Wow, pretty liberal artsy, huh? But the idea behind this program was to individualize each and every person's education and experience and allowing them to combine multiple disciplines into one degree. We've come up with some pretty crazy names like biology and theater majors, or even a contestant here tonight who has a major in creative communication and mathematics. Currently, around 22% of our students are enrolled in the individualized POE program. So the vision is in place, just like Zuckerberg's, but the path to foolishness does not end there. This program requires much hard work on both the student's part and the faculty's part as well. Can you imagine being an 18-year-old trying to determine what you want written on your own degree for the rest of your life when you could really choose anything you want? Now put yourself on the other side of the desk, being a professor trying to advise that student. There's a lot of hard work involved. Given this extra hard work, our school is persistent in the program and chooses to stay the path with it. According to the latest article in the Wall Street Journal related to individualized education, there are around 900 schools in the nation who offer similar programs to ours at Juniata. But they're not quite as persistent as we. They have many more requirements for their students to individualize their POEs, such as they must be upperclassmen, they need GPA requirements, or even departmental approval to individualize their own POE. But given all this extra hard work for us at Juniata College, we persist in the program and encourage all students to be a part of it. And now to completely live up to Jobs' definition of foolishness, we must take a risk to stand out from the rest. Stand out so far that we are the benchmark or the trendsetter in all of higher education. That risk would be requiring students to be a part of this vision and requiring students to be a part of this persistence. And that risk would be requiring all students to individualize their POE. While challenging the status quo is always risky, the payout and benefit for our school would be huge. Can you imagine the marketing and recruiting possibilities of this being the only school and the first school in the nation that offers 100% individualized college education? I can just see the national exposure right now as the little school in Huntington, PA with no specific college majors. A move this bold could get our name mentioned beside other huge innovators of the past, such as Ford with the implementation of the assembly line, AT&T with the introduction of the text message, or Apple when they released the first iPod. We should all want to look back and say that we were a part of a move that changed the entire landscape of higher education. that we were a part of a risk similar to the one Jobs took many years ago when he dropped out of college. Before Steve Jobs passed, he realized that if he himself stood for this foolishness, then it will become ingrained in our society as a whole. And once it became a larger part of our society, we could start to see the society that we want to live in. One that harbors folks who are ready to be the first, ready to be the best, and ready to be the trendsetter. So now, if Juniata College stands for this foolishness, each and every person who walks away with a Juniata degree will have the courage to create a vision, the courage to persist, and the courage to take risks out in the world. So in part, securing Juniata College's future today is also securing the future of our society as a whole. And that is why we are all here at an institution of higher education, to make the world a better place. So let me once again call your attention to this bizarre prompt. The prompt that has given us 7 students here tonight who exemplify this foolishness. 7 students who have created innovative visions for the future and shared them here tonight. 7 students who have persisted in this competition, facing many hours of hard work and a lot of lost sleep. And 7 students who welcomed the risks it takes to get up here and make their voices be heard tonight. And we have also gotten out of this prompt 1 student, myself, foolish enough to risk everything in this competition and call my own college foolish. Foolishness is world-changing. So stay foolish, Juniata College.
Maverick Force.
Maverick Force. In Aesop's fable, Tortoise and the Hare, a cunning and crafty hare challenges a disciplined and determined tortoise to a race. Imagine the confidence the hare has when the tortoise agrees to race him. Initially, we have little hope for our tortoise, but imagine the confidence and courage it took for him to step up to the challenge. Ultimately, we find that the tortoise wins, and so comes our infamous moral, slow and steady wins the race. But why am I telling you about the tortoise and the hare? Well, I believe that this fable has everything to do with Juniata and why our college is distinct among many. I am here because as an upcoming graduate of Juniata College, I reflect on my 4 years with pride. I am proud to be a part of a college that has a distinct past and the privilege to secure a distinct future. What makes Juniata College distinctive is our courage to compete by staying true to our liberal arts philosophy. A philosophy to learning that empowers individuals and prepares them to deal with complexity, diversity, and change. We must accept the challenge to run the race in a time when the liberal arts are in question. We must demonstrate conviction in our history if we wish to stand out. And we must be prepared to compete for the long term, to keep running. Recently, we have come into a challenge, a race of our own. There has been heavy pressure on Juniata College to accept this challenge. I'm talking about the liberal arts. It's no secret that the relevance of a liberal arts education has come into question, a question unanswered. But our stance is clear. The Juniata College strategic plan states that a liberal arts philosophy is one of our top 5 strengths as an institution. We stand out in these troubling and conflicting times. Dr. David Brenneman is an accomplished professor of economics at the University of Virginia. He argues that as liberal arts colleges evolve in response to economic pressures, they lose their distinctive purpose. In 1990, Dr. Brenneman completed a study finding that 212 liberal arts colleges exist. He stressed the importance that these remaining colleges do not disappear. But in 2012, a new study was released. The Association of American Colleges and Universities found that only 130 of Brenneman's 212 colleges were still in existence. In 20 years, we lost 39% of our liberal arts colleges. If this trend continues, the liberal arts will cease to exist by the year 2050. Can you imagine a future without the liberal arts? A future without Juniata College? Like the tortoise who accepted the challenge of a seemingly unwinnable race, Juniata displays its courage by accepting the challenge to compete with the liberal arts philosophy. As the race begins in our fable, the tortoise knows that the hare is swift. He knows he's at a disadvantage. But the tortoise has determination and wisdom. He has courage and conviction in himself. Barbara Cook is a Tony Award-winning actress. She lives her life believing that if you're able to be yourself, then you have no competition. All you have to do is get closer and closer to that essence. As a liberal arts college, our entire being is in jeopardy. We must trust our long-standing courage to recognize and retain our essence. As Juniata College, our essence is our pioneering attitude. We have served as a trailblazer in higher education. For example, our program of emphasis. Those colleges that say they offer a flexible major ignore freshmen and place heavy restrictions on the program, not at Juniata. Let's go back to our roots for a moment, and you will see that Juniata has always stood out from the crowd. We were founded as a co-educational institution. In 1876, we graduated our first class, 2 women, 1 man. And to think, Yale University considers admitting women in 1969 to be a landmark in history. A step further, Juniata has offered domestic partner benefits since 1996, a groundbreaking action not only in its time, but today. These few examples represent who we are as a college. Our conviction in our past and our courage to be different sets us apart. It is this courage that makes us Juniata. It is this conviction that enhances our distinctiveness today and allows us to secure a distinct future. The tortoise looks ahead in the race at the swift hare. He is behind, but he is disciplined and determined. The crafty hare, however, has fallen asleep. But playing on this downfall, our tortoise passes his sleepy competitor and keeps running. As Juniata College continues in its path of distinction, we must call on our courage to plan for longevity. We must stay the course. Each year, Forbes releases a list of America's top colleges. In the last 2 years, Juniata has gone up in rank 45 places. We are now ranked 133 out of 3,500 colleges and universities. We are leaving behind internationally recognized institutions of higher education. Juniata College has left behind American University, Bard College, James Madison University, and the University of Pittsburgh, to name a few. And yet, as we reach these new heights, we have not compromised the history of Juniata, our essence that has made us distinct. We are on the right track, but as Will Rogers once said, even if you are on the right track, you'll get run over if you just sit there. As a liberal arts college in central Pennsylvania, we worked hard to be 133rd in the nation. We are establishing ourselves at the forefront of the liberal arts. We have proven as a college that we have the courage and ability to compete in our race. The tortoise in our fable is triumphant. He accepted the challenge to compete, he never gave up on who he was, and he didn't stop running when he passed the hare. Our tortoise reached his finish line. Where is Juniata's finish line? We accept the challenge each and every day, offering a liberal arts philosophy. We have shown conviction in ourselves, a dedication to our history. And we have not once given up, establishing ourselves at the forefront of the liberal arts. So again, I ask, where is Juniata's finish line? Well, our race doesn't have a finish line. We instead have an everlasting courage to run the race always. We still have more hairs to pass. I argue that what makes Juniata College distinctive is our courage to compete by staying true to our liberal arts philosophy. We cannot be like the hare and rest alongside the track. 39% of liberal arts colleges did not have the courage, and in the last 20 years, they left the race altogether. Onyi Aniato is a visionary entrepreneur, and he teaches something that we, Juniata College, must remember. When you walk in distinction, you don't compete with anyone, but competition wants to compete with you.
Natasha Lane. Natasha Lane. Every year, U.S. News and World Report writes up a list of the best colleges in America. I was happy to find that Juniata was ranked number 105 out of over 178 schools. But when it came to our college summary, I have to admit that I was very disappointed. World Report defined Juniata as a small private liberal arts college in Huntington, Pennsylvania, about midway between Pittsburgh and the state capital of Harrisburg. Midway between Pittsburgh and Harrisburg? Is that all we really get? I find that interesting because just this weekend we hosted a conference for the Pennsylvania Student Equality Coalition, a conference that had previously been rejected by two much larger and more prestigious Pennsylvania institutions. Yet all we are is midway between Pittsburgh and Harrisburg. Juniata is so much more than that, and the progress we have made in issues of diversity is something that we should be proud of. But like any college, we are not perfect. If you ask many students what they would like more of at Juniata, they would say diversity. In fact, at the Bailey preliminaries, 8 out of the 28 speeches were just about diversity. Diversity, something that Juniata is so desperately trying to prove it has. The problem with this desperation is that we have a very narrow definition of the word. In an article by Anthony Lissing, he says, in the decades since the 1978 Supreme Court Bakke case, diversity has changed. It no longer means a doorway of race integration, but includes differences in things such as income, socioeconomic class, gender, sexuality, and even body type. Diversity is no longer just about race. Diversity is about difference in any shape or form. But more often than not, we at Juniata rely on an outdated definition of the word. And we're not the only ones. If you ask many Americans to define diversity, they'll say something like, more Black people, more Latinos, more minorities, etc. However, if you refer to the more modern definition of the word, then you'll see that Juniata is already pretty diverse. Yes, the majority of our students are white. And yes, 57% of them come from Pennsylvania. But they come from different towns, different cities, different backgrounds, and different experiences. Yes, we have many Republicans on campus, but we also have Democrats, Libertarians, and Independents, all living together. That is diversity. But it seems like when Juniata says diversity, what they're really concerned about is increasing the color on campus. We have diversity here, but it is not meaningful. I believe that for Juniata to attain a meaningful diversity, it can't just be about numbers. What will make us distinct is not the quantity of color in our diversity, but the quality of our interaction. Now, some of what I said may be concerning, because as you can see, I am a minority. Obviously, I want more underrepresented students on campus. My freshman year, there are only 11% of the incoming class identified as Alana. And I cannot explain to you the surprise and pride I felt after coming back from a semester abroad to see that there are more minorities on my campus. The enrollment center had not been sitting on their hands while I was away.
But there was a problem. You see, there was a physical change, but there was not an intellectual one. We have diversity, but we do not have communication. We do not have quality interaction. And when I say quality interaction, I do not mean the casual greetings we say to one another as we pass by in the hallway. Nor do I mean the academic discussions that are restricted to just the classroom. I mean verbal and social interactions outside of an academic setting where we develop an empathy and understanding for one another as human beings. Juniata's distinctiveness is in our ability to redefine diversity with communication. Of course, many people still wonder why diversity matters at all. Heyman and Jacobs, who are also writers for the U.S. News and Report, made up a list explaining why diversity is so significant on college campuses. To me, the reason that was most significant and most applicable was the fact that diversity enhances self-awareness. By surrounding yourself with people who are different than you are forced to question your culture and your beliefs. This further allows you to determine what perspective you truly agree with and increases your self-awareness. However, to develop the self-awareness, there must be communication within the diversity. Instead of continuously trying to increase the number of minority students on campus, how about we actually get them to talk to each other, and with the majority students? Because what is diversity without communication, besides similar groups of people standing in different corners of the room? Yes, we take courses together, and maybe if the mood strikes us, we even have lunch together. But why do all the international students gather at one table separate from their Juniata peers? Why aren't we talking? What do you know about a student or her experience as a Latina female? What do I even know about you or your experience as a white male? What do any of us know? And if that's too heavy of a conversation starter, which I'm sure it is, let's at least take the time to know each other's names, where we come from, what we're studying, why we chose Juniata. And then when the time is right, we can dive into the deeper stuff. But we need to start talking. If you ask me, I'll tell you what my favorite color is and why I love Huskies. You can tell me your favorite sport and how you broke your leg in the 4th grade and had to wear a cast for 3 months. And we'll keep talking. And then when the time is right, we can go into the deeper stuff. And I can tell you about being teased in middle school, white girl trapped inside a black girl's body. And you can tell me about your parents' divorce, or how you felt after you didn't make the basketball team, or whatever past memories still haunt you, because despite our differences, we all have our similar demons. Still, the similarities in our demons are not enough, because they are hard to recognize, because they are not physical, but emotional and intellectual. Humans are naturally homophilic, meaning that we tend to gather on people who are similar to us, because there's a safety in that similarity. That same safety creates blockades to new input. And research by Harris and Sherburne has proven that blockades to new input create systems that are non-changing, and these systems only maintain the status quo. Maintain the status quo? Juniata should seek to exceed it. If we want to better our future, we need to walk in the footsteps of distinct figures who came before us. Consider President Lincoln and President Obama. They are both distinct because they sought out people who had opposed them to act as their cabinet members. Juniata should aim to be this distinct. In order to do this, we need quality interaction. Once we have bridged the gap between the quality of our interaction and the quantity of our diversity, we will be in an optimal position to not only create global citizens, but to create the global leaders of tomorrow. But if we are going to do this, we're going to need more than checking off beyond tolerance even on our to-do list. We're going to need action. Professors, when you assign groups, pick students who come from drastically different backgrounds to work together, and even ask them to have their weekly lunch meetings in the classroom. Culture clubs. Take the initiative and actively seek out members who are different than you. Ask the internationals if you can eat with them at lunch. Ask the domestic student if you can join them for breakfast. Instead of complaining about the lack of racial diversity at Juniata, we should interact with the diversity that we do have. Because Juniata shouldn't be about quantity, but about quality. We should be about diversity with communication. We are about similar groups of people standing together in the room. U.S. News and World Report defines Juniata as a small private liberal arts school in Huntington, Pennsylvania, midway between the state capital of Harrisburg and Pittsburgh. Juniata, as defined by me, our home away from home. Juniata, the institution where we forge lifelong friendship. Juniata, where professors actually know you, not just teach you. Juniata, forever advocate of experiential learning. Juniata, a place with community, or communities. Because right now we are not one community. We are separate fragments held together by old glue, and we need new glue. That new glue comes in the form of better communication within our diversity. To become distinctive, our diverse community must be about quality, not quantity. We can only do this through communication, which will create a culture of empathy, activism, and advocacy. That is who I want my Juniata to be. That is who our Juniata must be.
McMurry.
Julia McMurry. As a freshman here at Juniata, I can still clearly imagine a time when my home mailbox was filled with glossy college promotionals. Do you remember those? Practically identical, except for the name of the school in question. Each seemed to promise a bright future, boasting students wearing broad grins, sauntering down brick walkways, backpacks slung casually over their shoulders. But after sorting through the pile of pamphlets, we all eventually landed here in Huntington. Why? Juniata's professors are brilliant. Our campus is beautiful, and the food is, well, Baker. But none of these factors were what cemented my decision to enroll. Quite simply, I'm here at Juniata because I can afford to be. You see, like over 98% of the students in this room, I received financial aid. Juniata is distinctive because, for all we can offer, we are a great bargain. However, if Juniata wants to remain attractive to students in the future, we must reaffirm how we can remain as affordable as we are rigorous, and we can do so by asking these questions. First, what students does Juniata value? Second, how are Juniata students currently faring financially? And finally, what can we do to ensure that students, as well as our institution, has financial success in the future? Whig politician Horace Mann once remarked, "Education, then, beyond all other devices of human origin, is the great equalizer of the conditions of men." Education, an equalizer. Now, this statement rings as true today as it did 2 centuries ago. In a millennium fraught with Wall Street meltdowns and a growing sense of income inequality and a globalized job market, education can be the tool that propels a lower income student into higher economic echelons. This is especially true at small liberal arts schools like Juniata, which often offer the richest educations, exercising students' minds and preparing them for a variety of careers. However, at these elite institutions, tuition costs can prove prohibitive. To gain access to education, that so-called great equalizer, means to already have some measure of equality in the form of cold, hard cash. Not everyone is so lucky. Traditionally, Juniata has prided itself on serving those whose luck may not be the best. The eager freshman who's first in her family to attend college, or the dedicated transfer student who doesn't have a fortune saved. But that may be changing. So, how are Juniata students doing financially these days? Currently, almost every student to set foot on campus receives some money from the college, funded by generous alumni who clearly love Juniata as much as you and I do. And this sounds incredible, until you consider that Juniata only meets full demonstrated need in 25% of cases. 3 out of 4 students will receive grant money below the sum they need, perhaps well below, and have to fill in the rest privately or through work study and loans. This last funding method is particularly problematic. Although our tagline calls us, by any measure, one of the best liberal arts colleges, and we are, that claim doesn't hold true when we use the yardstick of debt. You see, when it comes to debt, we measure just average. Just average in a country with the highest student debt in the world. At graduation, a Juniata student can expect to owe over $33,000 in loans, and by the time my class graduates, that number will be even higher. Now, this is not to say that our college is stingy. Far from it. Juniata consistently makes it onto Kiplinger's best values list, which has bolstered our status as a nationally ranked liberal arts college and given us a level of distinction among our peer institutions, who are often less generous with their endowments. But still, we don't do enough. In discussing debt, we assume a student is in a position to make it onto campus in the first place, and oftentimes this is not the case. For many students from low-income backgrounds, even after all available funding options are exhausted, it is still impossible to pay what is asked of them. According to Juniata's financial aid estimating tool, even a prospective Juniatian living below the federal poverty line would still be expected to contribute almost $12 grand a year out of pocket towards tuition, room, and board. Comparatively, Juniata's highest merit scholarship, meant to attract the best and the brightest, is valued at $24,000 a year. Some might argue that without such enticing awards, our academic profile would suffer, but I encourage them to look towards Williams, the country's top-ranked liberal arts college. Unlike Juniata, Williams has the luxury of a 10-figure endowment. Even so, its commitment to meet 100% of demonstrated student need can serve as an example to our institution. Many of the most prestigious colleges in the country have adopted a policy of grants only for needing students because they understand that graduating with too much debt can be detrimental. Not only that, but failing to get students from all economic backgrounds onto campus detracts from diversity, a value Juniata claims so strongly to espouse. So, what can we do? Changing our aid model won't be easy, nor will it happen overnight. I know I sound idealistic, and I would be naive to ignore the constraints a $95 million endowment poses. But I don't claim to have all the answers. I do have some ideas. Just as Abigail Adams asked her statesman husband to remember the ladies, I plead that the Master Plan Committee, in crafting our next 20-year plan, remembers the students and their financial well-being. This may mean allowing freshmen to opt out of meal and housing plans as early as second semester, increasing their financial flexibility. It may mean reducing the value of some merit scholarships, or capping them for a few years, and instead diverting that money towards those who are most in need. Above all, it will mean demonstrating to donors and trustees that helping poorer students is not just good business, but ethical leadership, and it will keep Juniata relevant through the 21st century. Of course, we should re-examine our POE system and grapple with divestment and teach better writing. But we can do none of these things if we cease to exist as an institution. I am glad to be here. I hope you are too. But depending on your financial situation, you may be having second thoughts. So let Juniata not contribute to more student debt or crowd out those who need an educational advantage the most. Let us be, among a sea of glossy college promotionals, distinctive as an amazing bargain, successful as a learning environment, a great equalizer.
Colton Hallabuk.
Colton Hallabuk. I recently took a survey online titled, "How much of a millennial are you?" to see how much I truly fit the stereotype of someone from my generation. Well, I scored a 97%, meaning that I send over 50 texts a day, I haven't read a newspaper in the last week, and I have accounts on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Pinterest, and Vine. The only question keeping me from a perfect score was the fact that I've yet to get a tattoo. But I didn't just take this survey to get a good chuckle. I wanted to better understand how society portrays an average member of my generation, the current generation at Juniata College. Because as each generation filters in and out of colleges across the nation, different challenges are presented which require the institution to adapt in order to best prepare students for the real world. Adaptation is nothing new to Juniata. Our student-centered philosophy of education has always set us apart from other institutions by making curricular adjustments based on distinct student needs, aspirations, and cultural backgrounds. But now the question is, what challenges do the millennials bring to Juniata that require us to adapt in order to best prepare us for the 21st century? One recurring issue that is common on any Google search regarding millennials is a discussion over our poor writing skills. And while some are blaming the daily practice of our informal, fractured writing through texting, others are pointing fingers at colleges. Forbes puts it quite bluntly with an article titled, "For 100K, you would at least think college grads could write." As a writing center tutor and college writing lab assistant here at Juniata, I argue that the millennials here today have the potential to put articles like these to shame if we change our mentalities towards writing. With what you learn here tonight, I hope you will see that in order to address the millennial writing crisis and in order to enhance Juniata's student-centered distinctiveness, we, the millennials, need to step up and take ownership in our role. This is the only way we will be able to enhance our distinction in writing and ensure Juniata's success for the future. Today's millennial writing crisis is forcing employers to seriously question what type of education students are getting. In a recent survey by the Association of American Colleges and Universities, 80% of employers said colleges should focus more on written communication because the skills they've seen in recent college grads are not impressive, and it's getting progressively worse. This should alarm us all, for we risk damaging Juniata's reputation when employers see our degree on the resume of the new hire who can't write. According to the Journal of the Scholarship of Teaching and Learning, our generation struggles with writing due to the vast difference in perception between students and professors. Over here, we have our millennials, who often see writing as a laborious, dreaded exercise of attempting to place their thoughts on paper and as merely becoming a master of spelling, citation format, and grammar. While over here, we have our professors, who understand that writing encompasses creative inspiration, problem solving, reflection, and tangible evidence of critical thinking. It's for these reasons that our generation has become distinct for bad writing. As you can see, being distinct isn't always a good thing, so we need to ensure that Juniata students stand out from the crowd with a reputation for being strong writers. And Juniata is trying to do that. I recently sat down with my supervisor at the Writing Center, Carol Peters, to further understand how Juniata's distinct, student-centered approach to education has influenced our writing curriculum. Writing-wise, to graduate from Juniata, you need to pass our introductory writing instruction course, the College Writing Seminar. This required course was traditionally only a semester long, but we, the millennials, changed that. In 2008, Juniata offered for the first time ever a year-long version of the course due to the increase of students who needed more time to develop their writing skills. Also, to get your Juniata degree, you need to take at least 2 other courses labeled Writing Intensive. Recently, The faculty who teach these courses took the initiative to revise their syllabi with more writing instruction. It was evident throughout my conversation with Professor Peters that Juniata recognizes our generation is struggling and is committed to improve our writing. The faculty is clearly holding up their side of the bargain. But let's be real, it takes two to tango. The faculty can't be the only ones striving for change. They can increase the quantity of writing we do all they want. But if we millennials aren't playing our role in these student-centered efforts, then Juniata will never be able to truly enhance the distinctiveness of its writing curriculum. So Juniata millennials, listen up, because this speech isn't for the trustees, administrators, or the faculty. This one's for you. We are just as much of Juniata as everyone else, and our role cannot be left out when discussing plans to enhance the college's distinctiveness. So my fellow students, we can no longer resist writing. We need to change our mentality, for writing is the pathway to occupational success. The National Commission on Writing reports that 120 major American corporations agreed that writing is the threshold skill for hiring and promotion. And on the flip side, poor writing is the kiss of death. So, no more eye rolls when a professor hands out a writing prompt. No more writing papers half-assed and thinking we're done with it forever. And no more thinking that we won't have to write after college. We need to see writing as more than just spelling and grammar practice. We spent all of high school preparing for Juniata, and now we must spend our time here for the real world. And if we let writing fall through the cracks, we're not only making ourselves just like every other millennial out there, but we're making Juniata just like any other college. Students, Juniata has put the ball on our court. It's time to make our writing shine. We, the millennials, must step up and take ownership in our role of Juniata's writing curriculum. And when we're alums, representing our education through strong writing, it is then that Juniata's success will be ensured for the future. So, back to that survey. Yeah, I'm a 97% stereotypical millennial. And hey, maybe one day I'll get that tattoo and bump it up to 100. But guess what else I am? I am a 100% Juniata student, soon to be a 100% Juniata alum, and I have never been more proud. And I want not only myself, but for every student who passes through this institution to represent our beloved home to the best that they can through their writing. The millennial writing crisis is neither controversial nor a myth. It's real, and it's making it difficult for our generation to thrive in the professional world. Juniata's distinct student-centered philosophy has helped our writing curriculum, but now it's time for the students to step up. If we, the millennials of Juniata College, can change our mentality towards writing from resistance to practice, then we can and will keep Juniata around for years to come as the beautiful small liberal arts college in central Pennsylvania who produces some of the strongest writers this world has seen.
I want to thank you for being a great audience, but the evening is not yet over. I encourage you to wait the 15 or 20 minutes while the judges deliberate so that you can find out who won this contest, although it's perfectly obvious we have 7 winners here. I am pleased to introduce Megan Myers, who is one of the co-presidents of the Communication and Media Club. She has a couple of announcements to make, and there is food and refreshments out there while you wait. So please help me welcome Megan Myers.
Thank you, and I just want to say you guys did an amazing job. And I was nervous coming up here, but after watching you, this is nothing. So, good evening, everyone. I am Megan Myers. I'm here to announce the door prizes for tonight, but I'd like to let you know how you can be a judge tonight as well. In the lobby, there's a screen just like the one to my right, with the names of tonight's contestants. Each name has a letter which you're able to text in to vote for the speech that you like the best. Or if you have a smartphone, you could go to the link pollev.com/Juniata, POLLEV.com, and select your favorite speech. The person who receives the most votes will win the People's Choice Award tonight, which will be announced after the deliberation. But if you would like to discuss further what you have seen tonight, on Thursday, March 5th at 7 p.m., the Communication and Media Club. Also, before you head out to the lobby to vote, please check under your seats. There may be a orange post-it note which indicates if you have won a door prize. I will be up front.
Don't turn the camera off. I feel like some of them will be that one doesn't even come in. Seriously, don't worry about it. I used to take a listen. Yeah. If you want to sit in the work, sit right here. I don't care, because I'll go in the lab. Grab mine. Oh, yeah, that's what you get. Oh, what you think? That way. In case you wanted to have both. Yeah, like, sir.
who will announce the People's Choice Award, which is all of you.
All right, well, it was close, but congratulations, Ryan Shelton. You have won.
And now President Troja will announce the other three finalists.
How about one more round of applause for all? Took a lot of notes and a lot to think about. I know you gave all of us a lot to think about, so we appreciate your efforts tonight very, very much. Hard choice for the judges, and I don't envy that the work that you just done to consider everything that was just said. But we do have three finalists here, and I'll start from number 3 and work up. So third place goes to Colton Hallabuk. Second place, I guess runner-up, would be Maverick Force. And first place in the 2015 Bailey winner is Julia McMurry.
Unfortunately, there has to be winners, but I think all 7 people that you heard this evening were extraordinary and gave the judges so much to think about. Thank you so much for coming out and celebrating their excellence. Once again, they've made Juniata shine, and we are so ever grateful for that. Have a very good evening, be very safe, walk slowly on the ice. Hope to see you all tomorrow. Have a very good evening.